Welcome back to TVU's Most Wanted. House of Heroes hanging out with me in the studio for the show today. I think we should start out by talking about new music, because new House of Heroes music is a very exciting subject.
Yeah.
So you guys released this studio update that has so much in it. So I just want to break some of that down. Let's first talk about a new producer, Paul Moak, right?
Paul Moak,
He's
yeah.
new. So tell me what the new producer brought to the new album.
I think vibe, in a word, would be the biggest thing. I mean, he's got this studio that's just like, it's so vibed out and incense burning all the time to the point where we would walk away with headaches on a daily basis.
Incense headaches.
Yeah.
Incense headaches.
Incense and low light headaches.
Okay.
But I mean, the vibe was totally there.
Yeah.
And so, but it's this massive space where we could play live and work on a song a day. Okay, let's work on this song today. We'll get everything done on it. Do the next song the next day. And so everyone was involved every day. So that's what I loved about it.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think Paul too, I felt like we were kind of like kindred spirits as far as our musical backgrounds, kind of growing up in the 90s.
That's right.
That kind of a thing. And
That's cool.
I think we channeled a lot of that, and he was very much in favor of that.
That's awesome. Now, Eric, I remember you saying in the update that you got to play a lot of guitars.
Yes.
That's pretty awesome. You said there was a ton of guitars hanging up. How many did you get to play on this new record?
I don't know. I didn't quite achieve my goal of playing a different one in every song, but I think I made it halfway through.
Okay.
Yeah.
Once he had there, probably.
All right.
Once he found his bread and butter, he kind of
He
stuck
kind of
with
kept going back to
stuck
it.
with what he had.
What
but-
was the bread and butter guitar? Which one was it?
I think it was a gold top Les Paul with P90s in it.
All right.
I think I used
That
it.
means
special.
absolutely nothing to me, but I'm sure
It was a really shiny and cool
yeah,
guitar.
I mean, it sounds awesome. Like the title alone sounds like something that would be sweet. House of Heroes in the studio for the show today. They got a new album coming out this summer, right? It's
That's
done.
right. It's done.
Let's just get to brass tacks. Isn't it any good? Is it good? Is that all right?
Fair.
Yeah, I don't know.
You don't know? You started out with yeah, and now you don't know? That is not instilling
Tell you what,
confidence
here's what
in
I
this
think.
record.
Do you remember when Tom DeLonge first came out with Angels and Airwaves and said,
Yes.
"This is the best album that has ever existed"?
Yes.
Yeah.
It became this big meme.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Our album is better than that album. So I guess what I'm saying.
So I guess it's the new number one?
Yeah.
Well, so we'll just let them imply. You don't have to say it, right?
Yeah,
Like,
right.
This is
We'll
really
let them
good.
figure it out for themselves.
You know what? I haven't heard it though, and everybody keeps tweeting about everybody. I mean, specifically the dudes from Waverly, some of the guys from Family Force 5. They're tweeting about how good this album is.
Yeah.
I haven't heard it yet. What's going on?
We'll get you a copy of it.
Okay.
One of these days.
All right, because it's not coming out to this summer, and that's
right.
a long ways off.
It's
I don't
a
know
long
if I
ways
can
off.
wait that long.
Do your best.
All right, I'll
You
try.
can do it. Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about the studio a little bit more. You have a new producer. I know you said in the video update, coming in, you were looking to make this very accessible record with lots of big hooks, and you said it ended up being a little different. Tell me about that.
I think we really wanted to make a pop record.
Okay.
Not in the sense of a pop rock record, I guess. Not in the sense of we want this to be Katy Perry, boy band part,
Right.
Whatever. But so we got in there, and the first song that we recorded was a fairly poppy tune. And we got done with it, and we listened back to it after the first day, and we're like, "This is going to be our most rocking album ever." Oh wow.
Yeah, we accidentally made our hardest rocking album.
Yeah.
Got away from it.
Now, how does that end up happening? Like, how do you go into the studio with this mindset that we're going to do something a little lighter, and then you make something that's way more aggressive than you thought?
Well, I think Paul, he made the Third Day record, the Leland record, and
Okay.
so he's made all these kind of CCM,
Yeah.
safe sounding records.
Yeah.
This was his first chance to cut loose, and he was just like,
Yeah, I think he fully embraced it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If there was ever an option to go harder rock or lighter, he always took the harder route.
That's awesome.
So that's
Yeah.
kind of what happened, I think.
So I think the hooks are still huge,
Yeah.
but they're placed within the setting of just balls to the wall rocking album.
Right.
So
Dude, that's awesome. I'm really excited to hear it. Now, you guys have been playing a couple songs live, correct?
that's right.
House of Heroes shows coming up soon, or what's that look like? You guys gonna be playing festivals this summer so people can hear this live stuff?
Yeah, there's a handful.
Okay.
Some of them just are kind of like they're giving us the old no thanks. We've had you a few years.
What? Come on, man.
I know. So.
Are you kidding? Come on, festival people. It's House of Heroes, for crying out loud. People want to hear some new music.
That's right, they do. Especially since we have an album coming out this summer, festival people.
Yeah, summer festivals, House of Heroes, new album, the trifecta. It's happened.
Yeah.
All right, more with House of Heroes coming up. It's TVU's Most Wanted. In your guys' video update, again, going back to that, there's lots of stuff to unpack. AJ, you were saying how Tim was really able to let go vocally, and you thought that was really cool. Tell me about how that came to be, what you mean by he was able to let go on this album.
Well, I think that the way that we recorded it was we would do a song a day. And so the idea was we were going to go in there, play together, get our tracks right, and then Tim would end up singing about dinner time every day.
Okay.
Tim's in the vocal booth, and I think the mentality was, we know Tim can sing, and Paul took the mentality of let's get some of the best takes out of him, just kind of have him let loose and feel free. That was part of having kind of a certain mood, a certain vibe in the studio.
Right.
And let's get the most kind of emotional take that we can have that we can work with. And I think in the past, it's easy to be very conscious. I'm not a lead singer, but it's easy to be very self-conscious when you're doing a vocal track.
Okay.
That's the point where you're trying to make everything sound perfect, and it ends up sounding, it can end up sounding like not human.
Right.
Especially with all the tricks they can do in the studio, And so I think that we were very conscious of, we wanted to catch the emotion of the song and kind of catch the moment and kind of let it be us playing as humans and kind of give that very real feel to the record. And I thought Paul pushed Tim in that way, and he really responded.
Yeah, and you guys recorded this all one big room, all at the same time, right? Did that help out a little bit, being able to just go for it when everybody was there, kind of like a live show?
I think so. I think that, there's just an energy that happens when everybody's playing together, and especially when we can be in the same room with the drums. That's a big deal.
Yeah, it is.
So yeah, I think that played a huge role.
Yeah.
And then, additionally, just some of the lyrics were just, there's a lot of frustration about being in a band for so long and just keeping going, and people saying, well, rock music is over. It's just dead. And we're like, but well, we're a rock band. I don't know.
We're in trouble if rock music is done.
And so I think AJ really came to the table with some killer lyrics that I was just like, I can really get behind this. And these lyrics are coming from a deep place instead of just just singing a story that was made up or something like that.
Let's talk a little bit more about that coming up. So you mentioned a little bit about the theme, kind of the stuff that you were writing about for this record. I know with Suburba, you had said you read a book and it was kind of telling you to write what you know, and you kind of took inspiration from that. What did you write for this album? How did that work for this album? What are some of the themes? What headspace were you guys in?
I think we just really wanted to write things that we could believe was the starting point.
Unlike the last few albums where it was just crap that you didn't forget those. I don't believe any of that.
Propaganda. Yeah, I remember me and Tim getting together. I don't know, it might have been probably late summer, and we got together and we just kind of had a heart-to-heart about kind of the state of the band and what it was going to look like to record the next album. And Tim really said some things kind of just that really struck a chord with me about, it's we've been playing music together as House of Heroes for 10 years, and before that, it's been probably 15. It's been so many years.
Half of our lives.
Yeah, and you do something for so long, and you get to a place where, the clock's kind of ticking, and you end up going, do I want to do anything else? Do I have to do something else as a means of survival?
Right.
With the way rock music is now, for any band, it's hard, but especially for a rock band, it's kind of we're an endangered species.
Yeah.
And I think that it kind of really started to get my brain thinking about, the attitude of this record should be that, we might never make another record, but if that's the case, then we're going out the way that we want to go out. And it became we're not going to compromise. We're not going to start compromising now.
Yeah.
We never did in our whole career, for better or for worse.
Yeah.
And so I think that we decided to take that attitude into it, and I think a lot of the lyrics started coming from there.
Yeah.
This just, never say die attitude, and, and I think it really came together for us, and it worked, especially with Paul as the producer and stuff. It was awesome.
Yeah. Now, I know you said the producer obviously has a lot to do with the way you push and the direction the album is going to go. But it sounds to me like this is something lyrically, the themes of this album also helped you to kind of get there emotionally. Also maybe added some teeth to this record. Do you think that's true?
I think that's very, very accurate. Yeah, especially, I mean, there's some lyrics that are just, there's a song that actually didn't even make the record, but it's still, lyrically, I think is one of our better albums. It started off being about dating a crazy girl, and you might, like the lyric goes, I might be dead by the time you hear this song.
Okay.
But turned into a metaphorical relationship between us and music. And the industry and all that fun stuff. And there's a great lyric that says, it was my greatest fault and my greatest gift, and I died like a fool for it, so tell them how I lived. So it's kind of saying, even though we've never compromised, that's a point of pride.
Yeah.
But it's also maybe a downfall for us.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
That's cool. I'm very excited to hear this new record, and I know that you guys are too. It's coming out later this summer. Yeah?
That's right.
All right. So if you want details, people can keep up online. I'm taking it you're going to be posting stuff and slowly releasing bits of new music so we can all hear. Yeah.
That's right. Lots of new music. Oh
Cool.
yeah. We'll be keeping the fans updated.
All right. Sounds good. I'm one of them. So the sooner the better. No pressure. Just sooner the better. Other than new album, obviously, which is the big thing. What else is coming up with you guys?
A lot of hanging out, a lot of eating good food.
Okay.
Let's see.
Maybe some pickup basketball.
Yeah, let's play some
Oh,
pickup
you know
basketball.
what?
Yeah.
That's right. I had heard, John Rubin told me actually that you guys played basketball with him once in a while.
It was pretty
And he
awesome.
said you were pretty good.
Yeah.
How good is John Rubin? at
He's not
basketball?
very good.
He's not. He talks a big
He
game.
really does. But what's funny is he can talk a big game, and people believe him that he's actually pretty good. So, for instance, he went on tour with Waverly, some of our friends, and so the Waverly guys are like, man, our Coon, he is such a good basketball player. He beat John Rubin one-on-one. And we're like,
It's not. That doesn't really say much.
yeah. We're like, John's terrible. And they go, no, he's not. He's good. He told us so. We're like,
Oh no!
John Rubin, the master manipulator.
Wait, so have you settled that score in that you guys have played against the guys from Waverly? Because that sounds like
That
the
wouldn't be
only
fair.
way that.
Nah, really
Oh,
wouldn't.
really?
They're not very
All right, now
tall.
you guys are talking a big game. Who's better than the AJ Tim basketball combo? You played anybody that really just stomped on you?
What about Toby's guys?
Oh yeah, they're pretty darn good. When we were out on the road with Toby Mac,
That's right.
I mean, he's got an entourage.
Yeah. He
and
plays every day.
They play every single day. So
What, do they only book shows in places where there's a basketball?
pretty much, it kind of revolves around that. That and golf.
That's how they get their tour schedule lined up.
they
Golf
just-
one day, basketball.
Yeah, just competitiveness all the time. That's all they care about. And they'll compete over anything. It's ridiculous.
So they're pretty good. So they're
They're pretty
kind of
darn
your
good.
match then.
Yeah. There's a guy in the band, Mr. Talkbox, and he used to play with NSYNC.
Really?
Yeah, before he kind of came to know the Lord.
Okay.
But he's just nuts. He dribbles only with his right hand, and
Yeah.
then he'll just come out of nowhere and do this crazy dunk, and it's like, I can't
Wow.
compete with
When you're
this.
talking about pickup basketball with Toby Mac, I don't necessarily think of guys who can dunk.
Right.
But that's intimidating in and of
Yeah,
itself.
That's right.
All right, so again, if fans want to keep up, what's the best way to do that? You guys mostly post on Facebook, Twitter?
Yeah, I'd say Facebook and Twitter are the biggest ones, but you can just go to thehouseofheroes.com and link to either one of those pages through there. So
And you guys got a Tumblr page as well, right?
that's right. We're gonna try to keep that a little bit more updated.
Okay. All right, cool. Well, thank you guys for hanging out with me in the studio today.
Thank you, Jared.
Very much looking forward to new music.
Yeah, man.
Excited about it. It's TVU's Most Wanted.